Imagine this: the birth of humanity has always been messy, unpredictable, and fragile. A cry pierces the sterile air of a hospital. A gasp invites the first breath into trembling lungs, and bloodstains trembling. Hands within this chaos, humanity found its meaning. Now, imagine a beginning stripped of chaos, a beginning where uncertainty gives way to symmetry, and biology yields to architecture. Life is not an accident, but a design. Not a shuffled deck, but a blueprint. The year is 2084, and the first generation of children is not born by chance. They are born by design. They are not carried in the intimacy of a mother's body. They are carried in translucent pods where every molecule is measured, in habitats supervised by artificial intelligence more precise than any human. Genes are scanned, adjusted, and rewritten. Flaws are corrected. Strengths are amplified. Parents do not wait with prayers. They wait with dashboards. The waiting hall is flooded with quiet light, while holograms float above their knees, and hope surrenders its seat to certainty. A voice speaks with calm neutrality that sounds almost divine. Predicted height 180. 7 centimeters. Lifespan 106 years. Probability of Alzheimer's 0. Emotional. Stability index high. Numbers replace lullabies. Algorithms replace chants, and the midwives of life are now lines of code, wrapped in glass. This is not only a continuation of the human story. This is a new chapter written by machines, and the question rises: if our children are born of code, do they remain human, or do they become something else entirely? Cathedral of Glass. The doors slide apart with a soft hiss. I step into a space that looks less like a hospital and more like a cathedral of light. Crystalline panels arch overhead like ribs of a giant creature, scattering daylight into silver ribbons that wander across a polished floor. Screens wrap the walls, each carrying a living double helix that turns in endless grace. The letters A, T, C, and G glow as if they were sacred characters rather than chemicals, and the air hums with the quiet of certainty. Parents sit on curved benches of brushed steel and composite wood, breathing slowly, speaking rarely. There is no panic here. There is focus. There is the comfort of data filling the space where fear used to live. A father lifts his hand and touches the cheek of his unborn daughter, projected in light above his lap. The image ripples at his touch, and then steadies. The baby smiling with a serenity that feels beyond time. The voice of the system arrives like a bell. Estimated intelligence, 148. Congenital heart disease, risk 0. Athletic potential superior. A breath escapes the mother, and the father nods as relief settles across their shoulders. I walk toward the heart of the chamber and find the artificial womb displayed without apology. A capsule of glass and polymer that glows with its own inner sun. Inside floats a baby, weightless in synthetic amniotic fluid. A steady rise and fall of the chest matched perfectly to the rhythm of the machine. There is no cry here. There is no strain. The child rests as if carved from light, and for the first time birth does not look like a miracle. It looks like a project fulfilled on schedule. Technicians move with the grace of curators in a museum, and robotic assistants glide on magnetic tracks, making adjustments that humans can read but no longer need to perform by hand. Beyond the chamber, a chorus of numbers drifts like incense. Probability of athletic excellence, 90. 3% lifespan expectancy, 106 years. Emotional stability, high. The parents do not shudder, they smile. The AI has rewritten destiny, and destiny is now a printed contract. I feel awe pooling in my chest, and a small seed of unease taking root beside it. If every life begins within a cathedral of certainty, what happens to the beauty of chance, and what happens to the wisdom it once brought? The death of chance. Humanity learned through friction. Imperfection taught resilience, fragility taught compassion, and failure taught wisdom. The crooked path of suffering carved room for empathy and community. If flaws can be erased and fragility deleted, what becomes of the lessons they carried? If mistakes are made impossible, Do we keep the virtues born from surviving them? A philosopher might say that to be human is to navigate uncertainty and choose courage despite it. Scientists might answer that removing needless suffering honors the very purpose of knowledge. The dilemma sharpens every time a pod is activated. Where is the line between healing and redesign? Where does medicine end and manufacturing begin? If perfection becomes the standard, what remains of humanity that once found meaning in the unfinished? Are we still human when our children are drafted like architecture and rendered like software? Blueprints of life. This future is closer than it seems, and its components already exist in our present. CRISPR-Cas9 allows precise edits to living code, turning what once felt like fate into a field where careful gardeners can. 3. Prune disease at the root. AlphaFold and similar systems read the riddles of protein folding, unveiling shapes that govern function, and with each solved fold, the map of biology stretches further across the table. Artificial womb research progressed through animal models, lamb embryos, sustained in supportive environments that mimic the conditions of a body. Regulators in some countries now study the ethics and safety of translating support technologies to human medicine. Neural growth, organ maturation, nutrient exchange, and immune system training are not left to chance inside these pods. They are modeled, sensed, and adjusted in continuous feedback loops. The promise is profound. The prevention of hereditary illnesses that have haunted families for generations. The chance to spare a child a lifetime of pain. The possibility of widening healthy years, rather than merely extending the count of days. The risks are not imaginary. Concentration of power over the definition of life, reduction of diversity, through optimization pressure and the creation of economic divides that harden into biological ones. Paradise or pandemonium. In one future, the air feels lighter because fear has loosened its grip. No child begins life with a sentence, written by a gene that never asked for consent. Cancer becomes a word used in museums of medical history, and memory loss fades from the vocabulary of grief. Playgrounds ring with laughter that is not interrupted by sudden hospital visits, and classrooms hold minds that can wander into difficult questions without being held back by pain they never deserved. Athletes redefine the limits of the human body, not because they were engineered as trophies, but because health gave them the freedom to find their edge without fear of breaking. In another future, the catalogs arrive in platinum envelopes. Parents browse eye colors and personalities as if they were choosing a finish for a luxury car, and the price list guides the definition of a child. The wealthy purchase perfection, while the poor inherit the old lottery, and a divide that once measured bank accounts now measures bone and blood. Echoes of tomorrow. The question remains, and it is not hypothetical. When the children of the AI walk among us, will they feel like saviors or like strangers? Will they carry forward a brighter human story, or will they author a new chapter that forgets the old one? The tools are already in our hands, and the decision is near. The question is not whether we can, it is whether we should, and if we do, how we will do it together. Humanity has always been shaped by its children, and perhaps tomorrow it will be reshaped by the children of its machines, but only if we allow code to serve conscience rather than replace it. Would you allow an AI to design your child, or would you demand a common standard where the first right is to be healthy and the second right is to be fully human? Subscribe for more journeys into the futures we may one day face. Welcome to Futurepolis. Welcome to the future.